Hello, Lazar. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Fine. Uh, you know, Today I have gathered so many interesting questions because for 5 months, I think all people ask me how many percentage of the chances to go to Australia or to enroll to get the student visa. I know that you are registered immigration agent, and we have some successful candidates who got the visa. Maybe you are just
All of our candidates are successful. All of
yeah,
them from Uzbekistan.
that is good.
Not some. All.
Yes, that is quite good. Uh, do you have some records or just a report how many people from Uzbekistan got the refusal visa and how many people till this day they got the successful visa? They were granted.
Okay. So I do have the tables opened. I just want to let you know that this is statistics for everyone that applies from Uzbekistan. So it's not just our applications. It's anyone with an Uzbek passport, whether they're in Uzbekistan or they're in Australia or any other country. Yeah. So these statistics are
Okay.
for anyone with an Uzbek passport. Now, just to let everyone know, this information is publicly available. Anyone can look at this information.
Oh, really? Where?
And, okay, so what would you need to do? Just type in Google Australian student visa grant numbers, Austrade. Okay. And then when you open the Austrade links, we'll go up. You have summaries. This is the Australian website, Australian Trade and Investment Commission. This is a government website. Okay. Now, from this website, you need to do a bit of searching, and eventually you'll be able to download the reports
Okay.
in Excel. Okay. When we open the report, you will need to select the precise information you're looking for. So for us, we're interested in people from Uzbekistan only. So we've clicked Uzbekistan on the filter here. Everything else would remain as it is. Okay. So now if we look at the heading, student visas lodged report, so that shows us how many people have applied, people with Uzbek passports. When we scroll to the end to have a look at the latest period, which is this financial year, 2022-2023, the report is up to 31st of October. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're December now, we're 17th of December, but the report that I have is until 31st of October. So keep in mind that these are visas that have been submitted, applied for. In total, we have 47 applications. Okay. 47 applications. And then I have to go to the other report. Again, we have Uzbekistan as the citizenship country. Student visas granted. Okay. And then we move to the end to look at the report from this sort of year. And we have a total of 27 grants. Okay, up to this point. So again, we'll compare the visas that have been lodged, and then we're going to compare the visas that have been granted up to this point. Now, we can't say for certain, we can't make a complete breakdown. However, we'll go back. Actually, we can use this. Give me a second. People can look at this by themselves. These are the primary applicants, so those are the people that actually study. And we have sectors. Higher education sector would be university. ELICOS is English study. This is just a short course that does not result in a bachelor degree or a master degree or a diploma or whatnot. This is postgraduate research sector. School sector, this is usually up to year 12 in Australia. And this is vocational, so that will be anything below a bachelor degree. So we have the numbers for those. We have the breakdown. And when we look at this top row, we scroll all the way to the end, we have 19 people from the higher education who have been granted visas. So that's the highest number, right? Then all the rest of the fields are not actually giving us a precise figure. It's less than 5. So we don't know how many people in each of those categories. So we don't have precise information. We can't say for certain, right? But it's clear from the statistics here that university students are getting most of the visas. Okay?
Yes, I see.
So again, people can find this information from the Australian Trade and Investment Commission website. They have to do a bit of searching for themselves. They'll probably be able to find the updated version soon, newer statistics. But yeah.
Okay, let me ask you one more question. Why people get the rejection while applying for the bachelor or master's degree? What can be the main reason?
So it's not specific to bachelor or master degree. These reasons, they're applicable to all levels of study. So a person can receive a refusal because of studying an LECOS course, English, or they can get a refusal for studying a bachelor. The most common refusal reason would be the GTE requirement, so genuine temporary entrant. That would mean that the applicant does not satisfy the decision maker, the case officer, that they meet the requirements to be granted a student visa. That could be because they haven't provided enough information to show that this course is going to be beneficial for the career or development, or because they haven't shown sufficient ties to their home country, or they haven't provided enough information on how they're going to fund their stay in Australia. So overall, in my experience, the biggest reason for refusal would be because the applicant did not prepare their application with enough supporting documents, and did not meet the financial requirements. So supporting documents to support their application, the GTE story, they have to write an explanation as to why they want to study and how that would help them and whatnot. And then they have to show evidence to back their claims, the supporting documents, and financials. Those are probably the biggest reasons a person would be refused. There could be other reasons as well. So for example, someone might have provided fraudulent documents or have given false information and they were refused because of that. However, most people get refused because they do not prepare their applications properly.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's continue. One more interesting question I have about completing these visa form documents. Is it possible to ask somebody to do it? Or why people in Uzbekistan, they just ask somebody who know English or they know something about Australia and they just decide to complete it instead of this candidate? And as a result, majority of them, they got the rejection. What is your advice for this issue?
This is difficult because in Australia, if a person is in Australia, working from Australia, I mean, by law, only certain people are allowed to provide immigration advice and immigration assistance. So if an applicant from Uzbekistan uses a registered person in Australia or a person who has permission to provide immigration assistance, then theoretically speaking, the person providing the assistance should have good knowledge of the visa requirements. However, if a travel agent, for example, from overseas, or some other educational agent attempts to complete a form from overseas, they may not be familiar, most likely they're not familiar with the requirements for an Australian visa, or they're not familiar with all the requirements. So in this case, the chances of refusal would be quite high. Again, depending on the individual circumstances. And I guess this is why you're asking this question, because a lot of people have been getting in touch with you lately who have received refusals. But yeah, it really depends on the situation. If a candidate is willing to do their own research and prepare their own application, if they feel confident, if they feel they meet all the requirements, they certainly can do that. But if they pay someone who doesn't have experience, doesn't have the knowledge, and then refusal comes, there's not much they can do about it. So they just lose their money. And once refusal comes, the second application, if they want to apply again, will be more difficult.
One more question. As you mentioned before that so many people in the system, we can see that they got the rejection. And I myself know that some students, they called me, even they have paid the university fee because of the visa, they got the rejection. It means they are not allowed to go there. Even in advance, they have paid the university fee. Now, for the people in general, is it possible, even they got the rejection letter, their visa was refused, is it possible to apply a second and third times for the visa?
Theoretically, it's possible to apply. However, it's important to check if they meet the requirements for this visa. So if they've been paying someone in Uzbekistan or in another place to apply for them, if they don't meet the requirements, they'll keep on getting refusals, and they're just wasting their money. And it's not cheap to apply for a visa. So the first step will be to assess their individual circumstances, to assess if they meet the requirements for the visa, to determine if they have a chance and what the chances are, to analyze the reasons for refusal. You know, sometimes, I mean, we've had clients who had been refused, right? And we've analyzed their cases and we understood why the refusal came through, and we managed to get the visa afterwards. But that is more difficult, more time consuming, and more expensive to do. Once you have a refusal, things become more difficult. But it is possible. It is possible to apply for a second or third time. And as long as they meet the requirements for the visa and they provide this information, I mean, if they provide the same documents as the first application, then of course they'll get refused again. There needs to be new information to argue for the grant. So it's possible, but the application needs to be analyzed. It needs to be assessed. And that takes time and takes effort, and it's more difficult than doing an initial first application.
Thank you very much. Very detailed information about this for the people who got the rejection letter, why it is very important to be very careful while completing the visa forms.
Yes, not just the form, but the documents they provided, the GT requirement that they have to write. All of these things need to be taken into account.
Okay, clear. Okay, I think that is all for today. We have finished up. I hope that soon we'll just record another videos about other topics.
Yeah, that would be great. If you have more questions, we'll make a video and we can answer them.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.